Hello, my name is Dee, and this is my 2010 Ford Transit Connect Lady Bug Out. And today I'm going to be doing a van tour. Several other channels have featured me doing a van tour, so I thought I'd have one of my own for my own channel. If you're new, welcome. And if you like this video, like it, subscribe to my channel, and touch the little notification bell for new videos every week that I try to put out on Saturdays. So here we go. In the other tours that I've done, I haven't really concentrated a lot on the front cab, so I'll start here. I have these guards that I put up. Several other people that I have watched showed me that little trick that it's an actual rain guard, but it helps that you can open your window and people can't really get in under there. So I got some. I think they're just standard ones that are universal for this type of van. Usually when I park in an area, the first thing that I do is get these curtains down, and they give me privacy. Instead of having the Reflectix here, I have a double barrier of curtains. And then I have my Reflectix covers that I made. So this is this side, and on the inside I just put it the same fabric that I used on my shelf, and I tried to sew it around the edges. It's getting a little worn, but on the outside then it's just black, so that if anybody's kind of walking by, they won't see that that's what it is. But I did one for this little window here, and it has magnets sewn into the sides. It really doesn't need magnets, but it's just a little extra. Then I open the window here, and then it is ready to go. I have a little air ventilation in my van, and that is what I do. And then I walk around to the other side and do the same thing. So the passenger side then, so I just put this here, and that is how it looks. As you can see too, I've got my best little gadgets here. This, which I put my phone on when I am navigating, which is very convenient. It can go either this way or this way. It can move around. This is a backup camera that I had to install, which is actually, because mine is a 2010 Transit Connect and a standard, it doesn't have any bells or whistles. And so this, I'll leave a link because it was very convenient to install. And then this is my little heater that I just keep up here. But this is really what I do in the front of the cab here. So then I have the Reflectix on this side too. Sometimes I just store it behind the seat so that I can get to it conveniently. Same deal I did for this side. And then I also have, this is my fire extinguisher. So I saw this somewhere, which I thought was very nice because it fits in my van a little bit better, but it's just a spray. So you take it off and you spray the heck out of anything that might catch on fire. Hope we never have to use that. And then I have these, which if it is buggy out, I put these on, which they're a little small, and these are the extra large. I'll leave the link also in below, but it just kind of goes over like this, and I kind of squeeze it in there. And then I have magnets, these handy dandy ceramic magnets, and just put it here so it doesn't kind of slide around. And then that way, if I do have the window open, no little buggies can get through. And so that is how the setup is for the windows. I also, when I'm driving, this is my Jackery 500. If nobody is with me, I just usually keep this in the front. I also have my little igloo that you've seen in other videos. If not, go check it out. But this stores stuff that when I'm just on the road and I need to snack. And then a lot of my water supply, I have a 2.5 gallon container in the back for a running faucet and my shower. But then I have found that the easiest way for me to have and store water is in these smaller containers. I've got these as well. So these are 2.5 gallon jugs. I've got 2 of them, so that's 5 gallons. And then these are 1.5 gallon, and I have 2 of those as well, so that's 3 gallons. So I basically have 8 gallons in front here, and it's just easier for me to carry and fill up wherever I need to fill it up. So somebody asked me recently to show kind of what I did with this overhead shelf, because the transit shelves normally you just kind of would use as overhead storage to put your glasses or whatever up there. So it's only about this wide or deep. And I had seen several people, Josh Oakes, check out his channel, he does little Transit Connects builds, and he gave me the idea of extending this. All it is a piece of plywood that I have put some thin foaming on so that it's a little squishy, and some fabric. All it does is it sits on the lip of this plastic piece and I have 2 L brackets on the end of the 1/4 inch plywood on this side, so that it kind of just fits like this and this, so that it doesn't go backwards. So that's simple, and it's just sitting there. It's not connected or anything. So then on this side, I put this, again, it's a long, I don't even know what you call them, an L bracket, I guess, a lip, kind of an edge, and it's metal, stainless steel, very hard metal. And what I did is I pre-drilled some holes this way to attach it to the plywood, and then I did some, you can see along here, I have done it underneath as well. So there's ones this way. And then on the end, I have another, this one right here is an L bracket that goes down like this. So it's attached to this metal bar this way. And then again, it just sits down into this piece of plastic. And then you can see here as well, this is another IKEA shelf that I access from that side, put my essential oils and stuff. There's a little light here that just is a motion sensor light that I can have on when I need it. And this is just attached to the metal as well by 2 screws on either side. So this is what my cab looks like when I am driving on the road or parked anywhere. So this is all enclosed. It stays cool, creates a little vapor barrier, stays cool or stays hot depending on what you need. So then this is one of my openings. Usually I park this way, that's why the awning is up here. This was a new addition a couple weeks ago when I went to Pahrump. I knew that it was going to be hot, and so I put this on. It's one of those universal that can fit many vehicles, SUVs, vans like this, and it just hooks on side of these universal brackets that I also installed on my van. So welcome to the interior of the back part of my van. Here I put a curtain rod that has, these are blackout and insulated. So that is what keeps the area from the front. It acts as another barrier of the air, heat, or cool that's coming in from the cab. And I have attached a curtain rod that's just an extension rod that you twist, and I believe it's the 36 to 55 inches one. So I've attached it to the metal bracket that I showed you before on either side. So these just kind of extend out and they hold the rod in place. And then from this side you can see how my little shelf goes. Again, these are rather thin shelves, so you just have to measure the things that you're gonna be storing and putting on them beforehand. And behind this seat, I have some of these just detachable little mesh netting that can carry a whole bunch of little things here. I've got my first aid kit that if I have to get to in an emergency right here. I've got another one in back, but this one is just for quick ones. So I've got 2 of these just attached, and that you can remove them and put them wherever you need them, but I like them that they can store right behind here. And I don't have a max air fan or any kind of fan that I have done in my roof. It was a cargo van, but it did come with this roof that is slightly insulated, so I just left it alone. A lot of people take these out, but I just thought, well, one less thing to do. And so then what I did is I saw this on other channels where they just use these USB rechargeable little fans. This goes wherever. Sometimes I clip it on up here and circulate it this way, just depending on where I need the circulation. It rests up here a lot because I open those windows and try to bring in the air from the front. This is for my puck lights that I have up above. They're just stick-on, and this is a Bluetooth, and they kind of go directly to the lights. And so when I'm stepping in the van, I can just do this, and they'll turn on my little lights up here. And then I also have gotten these little S-hooks for hooks. It's always good to have hooks, magnets. They're your lifesaver when you're in a van. And as you can see, I usually put coats that I'm going to be using regularly or shirts that I don't want to get wrinkled, and just kind of can hang them up there if I need it, or a towel. As you can see here, I've got a little towel hanging here. So I am sitting on this bench, and I made my bed, which I'll show later, and you can see it in other videos that I've kind of described it in more detail. But this is just a 40 by 10 inch piece of plywood. And I didn't even paint it. I sanded it, but I didn't paint it or anything. And it is sitting on these metal legs that screw directly into the top. And I just have those in 6 places underneath so that it is nice and solid. And then the back one of these is hooked to with an L bracket onto the flooring. And then this is usually for a pop-up table, but this is what holds the sliding part of my bed in place on both sides, and you'll see that a little later too. And then I just put some blankets over it so that it hides everything underneath and it's comfy to sit on. So I explain my bed in another video, which I'll have in a link, and you can check that out to see exactly what the measurements and how that all folds out. But suffice it to say that this mat, it's basically 2 pieces of plywood on top of each other. This slides across and creates a almost, well, kind of a little larger than a twin bed in here. And this is my mattress that just kind of folds into a couch. And I love this a lot, and I'll have a link to that, and several people have asked me about that. And on top here, I have a storage bin that has my coats and an electric blanket, and this is just a mat that goes outside when I'm either doing yoga outside or I want a little bigger area in front of my van that keeps dust and stuff away. And here I have my shower rod, which if you want to see how I do my shower, I'll leave the link to that video and you can go check that out. So as you can see on the inside, it's not red. And I spray painted this all with Rust-Oleum spray paint. The same color actually matched the front. Thank you, Ace Hardware, for giving me that tip of which one would match the best. And then I have no windows in my van at all except in the front because it was a cargo van. But they do have these little areas where if you want to put a window, you can put it. So in my attempt to get a little bit of insulation back in this area, I simply put Reflectix behind this piece of fabric and just use self-adhesive spray glue, and it stays in there quite nice. And it does insulate it quite a bit. So on this side, I did something very similar, but with balsa wood. So underneath, you can even see here, there's some Reflectix underneath. And then this is just balsa wood for crafts that I got at Hobby Lobby. And it slid in underneath here. So I just cut it a little bit to size, a little bit oversized. And then the rim just kind of slides right in. And so I use that just for aesthetic to make it look like wood. And then another IKEA shelf, it's just hooked into the factory screws of the van. And then this is my carbon monoxide detector, some magnets, that's what my little ladybug magnet. This is the kind of factory hole that I screw things into because I didn't want to put extra holes into it if I didn't have to. And yeah, so then I just have these little candles here, some Dr. Bronner's soap. These are pillows that I use. Everything has to kind of have a double use, and so these pillows actually house one extra pillow, some blankets, some jackets, and that's what I do here. This is a company called Voided. So on the one side, it's kind of like sleeping bag material, and then on the inside, it's like this, but it folds into a little handy dandy pillow, and that's why I like it. So it just bunches into itself, and you can pull it in and store it like this, and it's very warm. The great thing is that they come in different sizes, and if you have 2 or more of these, you can snap them together and they can make a sleeping bag if you should want it that way. But I just have one. So on this side, I have a cabinet, and I will leave the link below. This is originally for a bathroom, and I liked it because it was thinner than a regular 24-inch counter that you would have for a kitchen. And everything that I have fits very conveniently, so it worked perfectly for me. And it is attached by an L bracket to the bottom of the floor over here, and through one of those factory screws in the back with a piece of wood across here. And these are a different type of IKEA shelf. They house my coffee, cough drop things, my handy dandy H2O spray that I use for washing dishes, all those kinds of things, my toothpaste that I make myself, and honey and stuff like that. I originally had my bed lengthwise so that both of these cabinet doors could open easily like this, but since I've put my bed this way, and again, if you want to see more details on my bed, you can check out that video that I have as well. But I oriented my bed this way so that I would have some more negative space in the van. As you can see, it feels a lot more roomy. And then this back here I had to cut so that I could access my 2.5 gallon water jug back here that acts as my shower. It has a pump built into it. It is actually a dog shower that has a built-in pump that has this shower head on it. And again, you'll see my shower in the other video. And then I put a hole, I just drilled a hole into the top of it for my faucet. And this is just a tube that usually goes into a 3 or 5 gallon jug container. But I just thought this could do double duty by putting it in here, and then I just have to fill this water tank if I want running water for my shower or for my sink. This is a butane stove, just a Coleman grill butane stove that self-lights, which is very nice. So you just have to turn it on this way, and it lights up. So I like that it's very convenient, and it's just like at home. I can put my little water on and have my coffee or tea ready in the morning. This then can be, it comes out a little bit further, and I can use it for if I have my laptop or if I'm just sitting watching something. This is just a little shelf. And then down here is just some extra storage. It was an empty space, and so I put things that I don't really get to or have to get to every day, extra food storage in here in a plastic bin, some crackers, or sometimes I put laundry in there, anything, or my computer, if I have my computer along, and it just feels a little bit more out of the way, and I don't get to those things every day, and if I need to, I just get them out. And so then you can see inside, I've got my bins that house my food, and some extra crackers, some maple syrup, some bags, my bowls. This is what I use to cook with mainly, and yeah, and my coffee drip maker that doesn't need little paper filters. So then I have this light, which is a battery operated light that it's magnetic, so I can put it inside or outside. I like that. And then I have a thermos reader, so it's 83 degrees right now, pretty hot. And then just some hooks. This is where I keep my keys, and a paper towel roll here, a little mirror that I've attached up here with some what they're called toggle screws, and it keeps it in place really well. I was having problems with that for a while, but some of my viewers and me, we figured it out. And then this is my faucet. It is a USB rechargeable faucet that just has that tube going down into the lid of my container, and you just put it on here and it'll have water come out. So in back here, this is just another one of those curtains that is a thermal curtain, and I have it attached again to one of those kind of aluminum sliding rods that I have hooked up with some self-tapping screws on either end, and so that's permanently attached. So I just have this so that it can slide back and forth freely wherever I kind of need extra light or not. In the back here, the garage area, again, here is the hose that is connected to my shower that goes up here, and again, you can see a link for that and the whole explanation of how I do my shower. I have these as storage around my van. I also have one on my door. It's just a shoe organizer, and I originally had it taped up with some self-adhesive tape, but that wasn't strong enough because here I've got some quite heavier things in here. So I had to screw it in on top here with some self-tapping screws. The only new screws that I put in my van, because I try to avoid that as much as I can. And then these are the other little bins that I have. This is my sweatshirts and just some extra shirts and coats. And then on this side, I've got my garage tools. So as you can see, I've got like some extra USB or the USB cords that go to all of my little rechargeable batteries. Matches, I've got some self-starters here, duct tape, which is a must. It solves a lot of problems. And that's pretty much what I have for my garage area. People always ask me what I did to insulate the floor. It was, again, a cargo van, so it had a rubber stripping underneath it. So you can see right here how that it just kind of came like this with this rubber. And then I put a carpeting that's 4x6 carpeting on top of that. And then this usually sits outside, but while I'm driving or if I want a little bit more cushion inside, I just put this. This usually is my catch-all for when I'm coming in the van. But I heard from Bob Wells and several others that sometimes it really doesn't matter if you insulate. It just depends what you want and what you're comfortable with on the floor. This keeps me plenty warm. I don't ever have cold feet. So I liked the carpeting. It's just easier for me to go to a car wash and just vacuum everything out and it's done. So hopefully I've covered enough in this video, and you can check out some of my other ones if you want to go into any more detail about anything that you've seen in my van. If you have any questions or suggestions or things that you particularly liked or have seen in other van builds that you think might help me, I would welcome those comments and just leave them below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.